business. Millennium TV. Millennium TV. We mean business. Millennium TV.
It is packaged to perfection. Trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Millennium Kwacha, your first and only business breakfast. Remember, one of the things we ensure we do here is that you have the best of breakfast TV. We discussed quite a number of things on today's edition. The importance of budgeting is one of them. I don't know when last you made a budget. I know people struggle with budgets. I'm one of them, by the way. So Jen Mazimba comes on in one of our financial literacy segments on the importance of budgeting. Also discuss how to start a fashion business. Oh, ladies, get ready for that. Natasha Helen Zulu and Annie K. Nakamba will be joining us on set to discuss that at length. We also discuss how SMEs contribute to development. I understand SMEs are the backbone of the economy. We have Andrew Ngulove, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer from Infratel, will be joining us on set. That is an overview of what we discuss on today's edition of Millennium Kwacha. I'm your host, Paul Shingongo, and of course, always joined by my co-host, Constance Namwinga. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning. How are you?
Awesome. Looks jam-packed, exciting show.
It does look like a jam-packed, exciting show. Can't wait to listen to all that we have. Myself. So viewers, do stay tuned. Remember, you can also get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook as we speak. Also, we are on YouTube, so you can go on those platforms and then you can drop us a comment. Do tell us where you are watching us from. We do want to listen. We do want to hear that as well. You can call us on the number 0975740518 comment and to just talk to us. We do want to interact with you. We want to know who our viewers are. But for now, we go straight into the headlines.
The great local stories: a land dispute emerges between an investor and local people in Lusaka's Koku compound, an oil pipeline to be built from Lobito to Zambia. In foreign news, later on, U.S. health authorities call for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. And now the news in detail. A dispute has emerged between some residents of Lusaka's Koku compound and a foreign investor whose purchase of land has included about 75 houses in the area. The residents are refusing to move out of their homes with a compensation of 20,000 each, claiming that the money being offered is not enough to buy land and settle elsewhere. According to affected residents, the government instructed Asado Enterprise to adequately compensate the affected families after selling him the land in the area. They say the investors, however, decided to abrogate government's directive and is secretly going from one home to another to entice families with less amounts of money compared to what he was ordered to give them. Now, Harvest Plus Zambia has donated 10 motorbikes to the Ministry of Agriculture and 3 vitamin A orange maize seed companies aimed at enhancing crop development and production in the country. Speaking at the handover ceremony, Ministry of Agriculture Director Alik Daka, who was a guest of honor, said that he is confident that the motorbikes will help in addressing transport challenges. Mr. Daka said transport is one of the major challenges that has been hindering the agriculture sector from being viable. Meanwhile, Harvest Plus Zambia country manager Lista Katavairo said they were pleased to contribute motorbikes to assist the agriculture sector with transport for easy crop research. Now, Angola and Zambia will sign on the 19th of this month in Luanda a memorandum of understanding of construction of an oil pipeline for the country to supply fuel, the Angolan Minister of Mineral Resources has announced. The matter was discussed between the Minister of Oil and Gas, Diamantino de Azevedo, and Zambia's ambassador to Angola, Lawrence Chalungumana. According to a statement from the Minister of Mineral Resources, 3 years ago, Zambia showed interest in building multi-product pipeline from the municipality of Lobito in Angola's Benguela province to supply Zambia and the region with diesel, gasoline, and gas. The Zambian diplomat said at the end of the meeting that next Monday the two ministers would sign in Luanda the memorandum for construction of the pipeline. We move to foreign news.
Alrighty, so in foreign news, U.S. health authorities are calling for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after reports of extremely rare blood clotting cases. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, said it was acting out of abundance of caution. It said 6 cases of severe blood clotting had been detected and more than 6.8 million doses of the vaccine. The recommendation follows similar rare cases in the AstraZeneca vaccine, which has prompted some curbs in its use. In a series of tweets, the FDA says it and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, were reviewing 6 reported U.S. cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot in individuals after receiving vaccine. Twitter has announced the recruitment of a team of 11 people in Ghana with the intention of making the West African country its headquarters for the continent. Twitter said its new team would start by working remotely while exploring the possibility of opening an office in Ghana in the future. The company explained its choice by the freedoms of expression and interest access offered by Ghana, as well as the recent attribution to its capital, Accra, of the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Facebook already has several offices in Africa, including Nigeria, the most populous country on the continent, also in West Africa. That's it for international news.
In local sports, Atlas Mara Bank say they've never doubted their investment in Zesco United and are backing the Dollar Giants to clinch a double this season. Zesco and Atlas Mara have enjoyed a shirt endorsement deal for the last 4 years, and last October unveiled a 1-year contract worth 2 million kwacha. The 8-time league champions currently leads the first Super Division race as it battles to reclaim the league title they surrendered to Nkana last season. Victory at the end of the finish line in week 34 will see Zesco join the second most successful club, mighty Mufulira Wanderers, on 9 league title, 4 less than Nkana. Zesco are the Absa Cup holders and hope to stay on course for a prospective double when they face Singokola Blades in Saturday's semi-finals at Arthur Davis Stadium in Kitwe. Now, ex-Polo Polo midfielder and 2012 AFCON winning hero Isaac Chance has been appointed head coach of FAR's National First Division promotion Chasers City of Lusaka. City confirmed Chance's appointment on the 13th of April after the Hoodland side parted company with Serbia-born coach Vasilin Jelusic, who had been in charge since the start of the season. Chance heads into his first head coaching appointment since he hung up his boots over 2 seasons ago at Forest Rangers and subsequently the club's bench as assistant trainer. Meanwhile, City currently sit just outside the top 4 promotion slots in 5th place on 38 points from 22 games with a match in hand. City are tied on points with Chambeshi, who are just ahead of them and are on 1 point behind 3rd place Lusaka Celtic, while Kansenshi Dynamos are second on 43 points, and leaders Konkola Blades have 46 points. Chance's debut will be this Saturday when City play bottom of the log Zesco Shockers in their delayed week 23 game.
Moving on to international sports, Chelsea survived a spectacular late overhead kick from Mendy Taremi to overcome Porto and confirm a place in the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 7 years. Thomas Tuchel's side went into this home last 8-second leg with both games being played in Seville during the current COVID-19 pandemic. Protecting a 2-goal lead, they only briefly threatened to surrender in the dying seconds following Taremi's brilliant finish. Now, Chelsea will now face either Liverpool or Real Madrid in the semi-final, played within themselves, but it was enough to keep a disappointing Porto at bay. The Portuguese side rarely testing keeper Eduardo Mendy with their surprisingly cautious approach, which they only cast aside when it was too late. Mendy's poor clearance almost offered Jesus Corona a first-half chance, but he could not take advantage, while Christian Pulisic and Mason Mount had opportunities after the break. Taremi's goal was out of of character with the rest of Porto's performance and came too late to alter the inevitable course of this quarterfinal. Stephen Curry made history by becoming the Golden State Warriors' all-time leading scorer with the ninth fifth-point game of his career in Monday's NBA victory over the Denver Nuggets. Curry, who joined the Warriors as a first-round draft pick in 2009, scored 53 points in the 116-107 win. It took him to 17,818 points and passed Wilt Chamberlain's record of 17,783. Despite Curry's landmark moment and the victory, the Warriors are 10th in the NBA's Western Conference. That's it for international sports.
Money markets this morning, the 14th of April 2021, Zambian Kwacha was trading 22.16 against the US dollar, 30.40 against the British pound, 26.44 against the euro, and 1.51 against the South African rand. Now, the South African rand was little changed, around 14.6 against the greenback, after latest data showed mining activity recovered in the month of February, posting the first gain in a year. Elsewhere, latest economic data showed U.S. consumer prices rose more than expected in the month of March, raising fears that the U.S. Federal Reserve could tighten monetary policy sooner than anticipated. The British pound held slightly above 1.37 in mid-April, not far from an over 2-month low of 1.367 began last week. The stage 2 of lifting lockdown began on Monday, with non-essential shops, gyms and art galleries reopening in England, despite the slowing pace of the COVID vaccinations. Elsewhere, concerns over next month's local and regional elections mounted after Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said that Prime Minister Boris Johnson will not oppose a second independence referendum if the Scottish National Party wins the majority. Now, the euro traded below 1.19 in mid-April, not far from a 5-month low of 1.17 hit at the end of March, as poor economic data from bloc's largest economies and rising COVID-19 cases weighed on sentiment. German Chancellor Angela Merkel spoke out again in favor of a strict national lockdown for a short period of time, with the federal government set to introduce legislation that will allow it to impose national restrictions without the backing of regional authorities. That's it for money markets.
Let's take a look at the weather. Lusaka will be beautiful with sunshine and patchy clouds. Temperatures currently standing at 16 degrees Celsius, expected to go to about 25 degrees Celsius later on in the afternoon, and then come all the way down to about 18 degrees Celsius later on in the evening. Dollar will be partly sunny with thunderstorms in parts of the area in the afternoon. Temperatures currently standing at 20 degrees Celsius, expected to climb to about 24 and then dive down to 16 degrees Celsius later on in the evening. Chipata will experience a couple of showers in the morning, followed by a thunder shower in sports in the afternoon. Temperatures currently standing at 20 degrees Celsius, expected to rise to about 25 degrees Celsius and then dive down to 18 degrees Celsius. Livingston will be sunny and comfortable as well. Already the temperatures are all the way up at 28 degrees Celsius, expected to go up to about 32 before coming down to 20 degrees Celsius later on in the evening. That's it for the weather. And of course, the news update. So much to learn today: budgeting, starting a fashion business, and so much more right here on Millennium Kwacha, your first and your favorite business breakfast show. Do get interactive with us. We are on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can give us a call on 0975-740518. My name is Constance Namwinga with my host, Shingongo. We'll be back just now.
Is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and
Who are we? What are we about? Say you want to learn about business or get latest news updates in business news, social and economic issues, stock exchange, latest exchange rates, and all financial matters, or you want to learn on how to manage your money from savings, banking, insurance, to maybe our new traditional way of doing things like village banking. And if you're like me, planning and constantly making sound financial decisions is essential. So I need to keep abreast with upcoming investments, taxes, technology, or entrepreneurship prospects. Interesting, right? So what if I told you by just one click you can learn from mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing services, and yes, entertainment industries. After all, the more you know about money, the better financially you will be. So who are we? What are we about? Millennium TV, your first business and financial news television channel. Catch us on Top Star, Channel 95, or follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Millennium TV, we mean business. Who are we? Millennium TV. TV.
It's a Wednesday edition of your favorite breakfast show, coming to you live from Alongita Studios right here in the capital city, Lusaka. Also streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube. We're also always glad to have your patronage right here on Millennium Kwacha, where we bring you nothing but the best of breakfast TV. One of the things we also ensure is that you catch up with what's happening in the print media with the Daily Mail, Times of Zambia, as well as the Daily Nation. We also add our own chit-chat with Connie on some of the stories that we have in today's papers. Let's begin with the Times of Zambia.
Alrighty, in the Times of Zambia, right on the front page, you have 2,000 vendetta claimants paid. Chingola settlers receive payoff in successful pollution case against Indian miner. We also have health workers first for COVID jab. Government to engage Bishop Lungu over church COVID-19 fund. Public seeks more reassurance over vaccine survey. Moving on to the sports section of the Times of Zambia. Champions fight relegation. Kaindu demands derby win as Nkana stare at Trapdoor to Division 1 oblivion. Wada seeks revenge. Isaac Chansa is city coach. Siame bags order of merit. Pep tells players to ignore the math ahead of Dortmund test. And boxers eye Dutch for exposure. In the Daily Mail.
In today's Daily Mail, right on the front page, Fitch upgrade Zambia. Positive news in a long time, says Economist. Government to engage Bishop Lungu. DRC leader takes full control in the new cabinet. Drink, driving, understanding the risks. You better understand the risk of driving. You're drinking. You're not supposed to be driving if you are drinking, really. Minister leads mass vaccination. Snake bites defiled girl. When I was reading the story, I was emotional. Like she's from being defiled, then the snake bites are on their way home. Terrible. Read later on. Jerabo's he hit hard times. Zambia in safe hands. The inspirational note for the Daily Mail. If you keep saying things are going to be bad, you have a good chance of being a prophet. Say the right thing, so that in case you have a chance of being a prophet, it's the right thing that is coming to pass. Kitwe Fiesta as a sports. Kitwe Fiesta, Butch Boys, Power, Ghana, all in action. Bigger picture, soccer review, the bigger picture. Number ticking all the right boxes. Ole's son responds to Jose, a new COVID soccer formation. In the Daily Nation.
In the Daily Nation, we have Hatembo's abduction, 4 UPND officials charged. That is the story for the front page. That's the only story on the front page. So we move on to the sports section. Nkana Kitoe at Dagger's drone. We also have Yamoto pick Chansa as Jelusic replacement. And that's all. That is it for the sports section of the Daily Nation. Let's dive into the stories.
Something good news. Fitch upgrades Zambia. Positive news in a long time, says the Economist. Now, credit rating agency Fitch Ratings has upgraded Zambia's local currency debt rating from double C to triple C. A positive step for a country trying to put its economy back on track in the COVID era. Now, A triple C rating means substantial credit risk where default is a real possibility, while a double C means very high levels of credit risk where default of some kind appears probable. The rating reflects government's efforts in dismantling domestic or Kwacha denominated debt, such as money owed to suppliers and pensioners. So it's like we are doing well in servicing our debt. Now, according to a statement by the Flitch, the rating reflects that the government has continued to service its local currency debt and has made no indication that it plans to include domestic debt in any potential debt restructuring. This means an eventual restructuring of external debt could improve the overall public finance position and support local currency debt sustainability, which is...
It is good news. It's good news.
Which is good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good news if we are on track in servicing our debt, and according to debt restructuring plan, we have no further plans of acquiring domestic debt. That is good.
That's good.
That's a step in the right
Hopefully
direction.
we can also just not have plans to not acquire any more debt, whether local or international.
External debt, Zambia cannot survive without external debt. That one, I don't think there's a country that can manage to sustain that. Yeah, but Zambia cannot manage. Even in our budget, we even put a provision for external debt.
So that is something that we'll never run away from.
If we keep reducing, these are steps in the right direction, especially domestic debt as well. Really, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, it's good news, and we're glad that we're on course. Hopefully, as we go ahead, yeah, there will be less external, internal debt at the end of the day.
An economist, Motisonge Zulu, says it is a good development, positive news in a very long time, and we can give the central bank a pat on the back for restructuring domestic debt. There's a lot that the central bank has done to restructure its domestic debt position, he said, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very much. Very, very much.
Moving on in some of the interesting stories now. Which one do I begin with? But yes, Jerobo's hit hard times. Now, small-scale miners on the copper belt, commonly known as Jerobo's, are known for spending lavishly, but the lack of slag dumps to scavenge for copper has hit them hard. Some are resorting to stealing, resulting in 1,000 of them being incarcerated. 1,000, that's a lot. Jerobo's are youths who depend on scavenging metals in slag dumps to earn a living. With most dump sites now in private hands, Jerobo's have been left with no source of livelihood. I was amazed with what the spokesperson for this Jerobo's said. Group spokesperson Samson Mpembe said in an interview yesterday that out of the 1,000 scavengers, 1,000 are behind, out of the 10,000 scavengers, 1,000 are behind bars. Whenever we go to these dump sites to look for oxides, police always ask us for permits. Right now, we are not doing anything, and most of our members have gone back to stealing in communities. Like, that's the only option that your members can resort to in case this is not there, which is...
I don't necessarily think he meant that's the only thing they can do. It's like where he just says, because what was happening and why at a certain point they were even given it's that famous hill in the Black Mountain.
The Black
there we go.
Mountain.
Was because the claim of the leadership, if I remember correctly, and I hope I won't misquote myself or misquote what was said, but if I remember correctly, the ones that are seen as leaders were saying, we get the boys that are known to be thieves, that are known to be the problems, and then we give them something to do to get them away from those vices.
Oh, that's what they said.
Yeah. So it's like they're the ones that accept the people that in a normal circumstance, you who is considered a normal person will look at and think this one is a thief and this one, for them, those are the people that they embrace, and then they tell them instead of let's do this, and then they are loyal to the Jerobo situation, community, whatever it's called. Yeah. So now it's like we don't have anything to do. There's nothing we can give them. So now they're just going back to their old ways. You get my point?
Yeah, Mr. Mpembe said, all the youths know is looking for metals. And when they are denied the opportunity, they resort to ukawalala.
What do you think would be a solution? Give them
Find
back?
other ways of making means economically other than that. Yes, for a long time, really. I think that's something, it's not a one-day thing. It's a process that needs to be initiated. They are used to these issues of Black Mountain, of scavenging at the dump sites. It's known for time immemorial. But now, I think that's something that even the government really needs to find ways of engaging them, because they've been there, they've been doing it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And just removing them suddenly, you don't expect them to resort to something productive there and then.
Exactly.
So maybe something needs to be done. Mindset, of course, has to change.
Yeah, a lot has to be done to change the mindset, because this also comes up with the upbringing. This is a boy that has been seeing his dad do it. You know, it's almost like that's the only way he wants to go.
Yeah.
You know, as well. And then now you just take the only thing that is really known to them. Does you not to justify what they're doing, no matter in what circumstance stealing is bad, but you kind of sort of understand where they're coming from, and now, yeah, like you've said, let's engage them, bring them in, show them, if you can, different ways and means to make money, you know, and the whole taking away of the mines and whatever and giving them to private, maybe don't take it out. It's like what we were talking about with the banning of potatoes and whatever. Like, do it gradually so that even farmers are ready and people are ready to, and those that want to go into potato farming can go into potato farming, and so that we start, you know, and like where you just grab it from there, and then now they're you know, one day I have an income and the next day I don't have an income, and then jobs are hard to find anywhere in the country. So yeah, I
hear you. Before we move to the Times of Zambia and the Daily Nation, this story, snake bites defiled girl, very unfortunate. A 15-year-old girl, Vondola, suffered a double tragedy on Sunday when she got bitten by a snake as she was returning from a nearby bush where she had been just defiled, allegedly defiled by a 24-year-old man around 19 hours in Ndola's Deke Township. The victim's mother reported to police that her daughter was allegedly sexually abused by Ephraim Banda. After Mamukuwa defiled, on the way, the snake, like, I think that we know Mukashana your day. But that's sad.
It really is. It really is. And I hope that Ephraim,
I knew that's where you would go.
Yeah, well, I hope he's caught and I hope he's punished adequately, if that is a word I can use. And I hope he's even punished for her being bitten, because if he didn't take her into that bush, she would never have been bitten. Now, so that should fall on him as well.
You should listen to how the story unfolded. Now, Banda was consequently apprehended and was taken to police. Okay. However, yesterday, the victim's mother went to the police to withdraw the matter. But the officers handling the case were hesitant to withdraw the matter until a medical report is issued to establish whether or not the girl was truly defiled. The guy is her friend, and he escorted her to the market. When we questioned her, she lied that he defiled her, the mother said. The mother was trying to, you know, like, no, that's what you take care. That's what you take care. Why do you have a market? Why do she have a market?
So where did that start from in the beginning?
Where?
Like, why did she first report defilement? Oh, because the girl lied.
Yes.
But why would the girl lie?
The mother told the police that Banda picked the girl from a place to a nearby bush where allegedly... How many twists to this story? She said on their way from the bush, the girl was bitten by a snake. Banda was apprehended. However, later on, she came with another story that market. The guy is a friend and just escorted her to the market. When we questioned her, she lied that he defiled her, the mother said. Why can the girl?
Yeah, why would the girl lie? And especially if that's her friend.
Maybe he tried to. But I know a lot of cases where defilement happens and the mothers withdraw the cases. And in most cases, I don't know why, what's up with you women. It's like you have a daughter, okay? Okay, let me give you an example. You get emotional.
Yes, please don't go down that road.
Someone has a daughter, and the daughter is defiled, or raped by a relative, most of the time the mother will try to shield, to say don't report, don't tell people. I don't know why. Do you know the reason?
The embarrassment of the family, one, the fact that the family will be in ridicule, because here's the silly thing about, especially in small towns where where everybody knows everybody, it becomes a topic of the town, and it's not people sympathizing, and it's not people coming to you to ask you if you need help, if you need any, they are literally laughing at you, like, and laughing at the girl, and then there's this almost what can I call it, stigma. It's like she's been, how can I put it, dirtened, for example, you get it? So now mothers don't want their daughters playing with that girl, and people don't want mixing with that family. And then, especially if it's a family member, it's like, no, but if the father can do that, or if the uncle can do that, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You get my point? So now that family starts going through a sort of separation, ridicule, nobody wants to hang out with who, and whenever, and whatever, and so on and so forth. So now what happens is, the mother trying so hard to shield her, or it's where I think it's where mothers are trying to shield, to sort of protect their daughters from what the society will do, not knowing that it's the fact that she has hidden this kind of looks like she's protecting that person and destroys the child a whole lot more.
Which one is more traumatizing? Which one is better? The people know, or you hide the matter?
I think
to the victim.
To the victim, it's better the people know.
And they laugh at her.
It's better because when a child who has been abused comes to you, what they want to know is you will protect them.
Yeah.
And as at that point, the world is an enemy to them already. You get my point? So they need a shield. They need, I can run to you.
So at least if you run to your mother.
Yes, but then the moment when the moment goes, don't say anything, and hides it and pretends nothing has happened, it looks like the mother is shielding whoever is
not protecting you.
No.
But it's like I'm embarrassing you. Oh,
but a child, the abusee will never see it like that. For the fact that I came out, if I don't come out, right? It's now me, and I'm the one who's trying to protect me from being ridiculed. That's different.
I know a friend. I know a friend who she's 23 years old or so, a girl that got pregnant, and before the father could know, she told the mother. And the pregnancy about 4 months or 5 months or so, the father didn't know. And they quickly arranged an abortion with some aunties in the family. So that the father doesn't know. It's been 2 years, 3 years now. The abortion took place, everything is okay.
And the father
doesn't know. And the girl was telling me that I'm proud of my mother. She was defending me, because if my family knew my father, it would have been, I don't know.
Exactly. So you see, for me to come to you.
So don't you think it's the same vein, like, you are defiled by an uncle or so, you go to the mother, okay, I'll tell a few people, but will not reveal to the world. You see, it's like I'm still protecting you.
No, but then you see, in that case, the person didn't defile her, and didn't abuse her. They didn't hurt her.
Yeah.
For her, in this case, she's the one that was making the mistake, and then she runs to mom and says, "Mommy, help me." And then the mother, in her mind, with the abortion, did help her. You get my point? But then when I come to you as an abused person, I'm coming to you and telling you this person hurt me. What I want to see is you take action against that person, because that person hurt me. It's like when a child comes to you and says, "This one has beaten me." You get it? What you want is this one who has beaten me.
I know a lot of instances where in the family, an uncle rapes someone. You tell the mother knows, oh, this is what I'm sorry. The uncle, but it's not broadcasted.
Yeah. I do think maybe in that case it will be different. The problem is a lot of time it's kept quiet.
If it goes to the police, for me, sometimes I feel it's very traumatized to the girl.
When the whole community knows. Yes, it does come, and you see, that's the thing, and that's why I say with being abused, with defilement, with rape, or whatever form or cause or form or way that you were abused, there's a lot that comes in. Apart from the fact that you're dealing with the trauma of their being abused, you're also dealing with whatever the reaction of everyone will be. You get my point? Usually with what I know with counselors, for them, it's about when you start going for counseling and so on and so forth, it's about you. So some will even ask you, like, what would you want to have been done, you know? Because they also want you to release that anger. Yeah. Because the problem with the anger that you're feeling, the more you keep it in, the more it eats you up. And then when there's that whole hiding, another thing that happens is you start, for some reason, you start debating, if this person wants it hidden, then maybe the problem was me. So now you start arguing with yourself as to...
I think it's a problem if you tell your mother and your mother just keeps it to herself.
Yes.
But if she tells a few, 2-3 people, does some little action within the family... Yes,
it does help if there's a little bit of action. Yeah, but then it also comes down to what was the action that person saw fit.
From the family point of view, there's less action that can be done apart from maybe chasing the person or talking to the person. Yeah, but if it goes to police route, for me, I feel there's a lot of harm to the victim. That's how I feel.
No. When somebody hurts me, I want them hurt back. That's the thing. It's a vengeance thing that you have in your mind.
Is it everyone that thinks like that?
I feel like it's the point is, if I've come out to you, I do want something done.
Because I know others don't want a shame.
Others would not want, but then that's why I'm saying with counseling, that's why you need counseling. With counselors, they'll actually ask you, like, what would you want done, you know, or, you know, what would help you heal. So, you know, there are people that would say, I just want it all to go away, so I don't, and that's why I'm saying it's different if I'm the one that has even kept it quiet, because that is the way I think I will heal. You get my point?
Lovely. That's Constance chat, but really, what is your view as well? You can also share your experience, really, and what you think can be done in such situations, because these are things that happen in our communities day in and day out. Before we break, let's see a few stories from the Daily Nation and the Times of Zambia.
Okay, in the Daily, that was a in the Daily Nation, I marked a story. Where can I find it? Oh, there we go. Kangombe's suspended sentence bad President Musoma. So the suspended sentence given to UPND Sesheke Member of Parliament Romeo Kangombe is too lenient, considering the gravity of the crime he committed. Zambia Republican Party President Right Musoma has said. So then it goes on to talk about what the crime was and how he was given a suspended sentence. What do you think, though, with the suspended sentence? This is a person that has committed assault, has been charged guilty, and then they tell you can go free, just don't do it again.
2 years is a lot of time.
To do what?
Not to commit it's a punishment on its own. And
no, but then you don't. It's not a person that goes around. It's like if I had to steal some. I've never stolen anything in my life, and then I steal, and then you come and tell me I don't steal again. It's kind of going to be very easy, because I really honestly don't steal. It was just a situation that made me
so maybe
steal in that situation.
Even the level of assault also matters. There are different types of assaults. Yeah, so even the level of assault matters. So the good part with the law is that every act, every offense has a stipulated fine or punishment attached to it. That's a good part with the law. It's not something that the judge will just dream. Okay, Casey, since naturally what binzi, so they are also restricted with what the law says. So there's nothing like this is too small. What does the law say in such a case? So suspended sentence is too.
I think if it was like house arrest, maybe like people would. I do understand where he's coming from, where he's saying it's too lenient, because this is a person that you were thinking they are going to be punished for whatever they've done, and you know you're expecting them to either be incarcerated or so on and so forth, and then you still see them walking around freely, you know, and they're even as much as it's don't commit that crime ever again. Yeah, you know, they don't go around assaulting people. I kind of feel like that don't commit will kind of be easy, because it's not like you go around assaulting people every day or every once in a while.
Look at what happened in Parliament yesterday. Despite that sentence, he walked in Parliament and everyone was.
And that's the thing. So everything is kind of feels like it's the same. Like he hasn't gotten any punishment.
A point of order was raised by Tutu Angulu. You expect that from Tutu Angulu.
Yes.
The deputy chief whip asked whether Mr. Ngombe was in order. Okay, so his presence in Parliament was always going to raise eyebrows from some MPs, with the usual suspect Tutwang Ngulube rising to a point of order. Deputy Chief Whip asked whether Mr. Ngangombe was in order to be in the House after being convicted for criminal offences. But Speaker of the National Assembly reserved ruling on the continued stay in Parliament of the United Party for UPND lawmaker. So you're sentenced to 12 months imprisonment with hard labour for abducting and assaulting 2 police officers, but the sentence was suspended for 2 years. That is one thing. Dr. Mativini reserved ruling to enable him to make a measured response. So his political career hangs in the balance because the Constitution does not allow a convict to contest for any political office.
And that's the thing. That's what. If once you're convicted, you should.
UPND spokesperson Cornelius Moita said the party will consult its legal team on the way forward. So even the UPND know that this can really have an impact on their MP. But Mr. Moita said in the event that Mr. Ngombe does not stand as MP, the UPND is still assured of victory, regardless of the person who it will adopt in says shake. So yeah, we sympathize with Mr. Kangombe over his fate. This is Millennium Kwacha, your first and only business breakfast show, coming to you live from our Namwinga studios right in the capital city, Lusaka. Also streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube. Tell us where you are watching us from. We'll be glad to receive your messages. Coming up is a very interesting discussion I had with Jane Mazimba on the importance of budgeting. You used to make budgets?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I even have one. I can show you my phone right now.
Really?
I always have a budget. I have a monthly budget. I have so many. There we go. So there's April budget here. There's this one. I have different budgets even. There's that one. I always have. Every time I'm dealing with money, I make a budget. I want to know where my money has gone, how I've spent it. And then at the end of the month, I'm even going to, see if I have overspent, if I was careless with my money. That's the only way I can do it because, I'm one person who's going to be down. I will see something for my daughter and I'm going to be like.
Jen raised some interesting views on budgeting. Let's take a look at this clip. We'll be back with the news updates at 8.
It is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the Financial Literacy segment on Millennium Kwacha, your first and only business breakfast show in the country. My name is Paul Shingongo. Now, on this particular segment, we've been running a series with personal finance educator Jane Mazimba. Now, last time she talked about financial goal setting. Today, we are moving further with another very interesting subject. Jen, welcome once again.
Thank you. Again, happy to be here.
It's always great to talk issues of money.
Let's talk.
Yeah. Before that, I'm a very curious person, very observant person. I noticed this, Jane. Tell us about this in a few seconds.
Please, let me get the other one.
Yeah, this is the Governor's Award.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So basically every year, the Bank of Zambia governor has an award ceremony and they basically recognize people who have contributed to financial literacy in the country. So if you can see, that one is for individual contribution to financial education. For me, and then this one is for my company, Poised Investor, for outstanding education initiative. Yeah, for we do a 7-day online money masterclass under Poised Investor. So those two won last year, and I'm very excited about them.
Awesome. That's why I'm calling the Mog, because you're the tycoon of money.
Hello, please. We are trying to get there, to be honest. I think it's a journey, and we're just on the journey. You're trying to bring along as many people as possible.
Awesome. We're talking about budgeting today. Tell us the importance of budgeting, even before we get to the details of this.
Ish. Remember last week we talked about telling your money where to go?
Yeah.
The budget tells your money right now what it's supposed to be doing for you. And it's an important topic, one that I've struggled with personally, because I don't like being told what to do, right? But yeah, budgeting is important because it allows you to assign every kwacha a task. Your money mustn't just start flying around anyhow. No. It must have a job. So it must, whether it's housing, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, whether it's savings, every kwacha must have a task. And that's what your budget allows you to do.
I am very much aware there are very few people in our country really that even follow this thing.
The budgets.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one, because most of us are used to doing certain things. We get our money and we have the budget in the head. We have the budget of, oh, I need to pay rent 4,000, or I need to pay school fees 2,000, or food. Most of us don't even know how much we spend on transport every month. I can guarantee you. But once you have a budget, you are able to actually write down. I am an advocate for writing down. If you're starting, write down on paper. But we do live in the new age. If you're young, if you're hip, you have a computer, you have a smartphone, there are apps. Put it in your smartphone. So the first step to your budget, I'm just going into it now. The first step to your budget is tracking. Most of us don't know where our money is going. So before you even write a budget, just from today, start tracking what are you spending on. Okay, when you walk out of my house today,
like you record.
Yes. For me, I don't know if my handbag is quite far. I have a little book. That's what I started with. I used to write down everything.
Jen, you mean if you're walking, you buy lip gloss?
Yes.
You record 10 kwacha lip gloss.
Yes. Because you will be shocked at how much money you're actually throwing away buying these little things. When we did our online money masterclass last year, the first session, and we told everyone to track, I also started tracking. It was my first time tracking, right? So I was tracking along. I found that month I spent 1,200 on, these guys who, they clean your car at the office, you send them to buy you lunch, so you tell them to keep the change. 1,200 in a month. Can you imagine? And it's like, oh, 10 kwacha here, 20 kwacha here. Instead of going across the street to take my suit to the laundry, I send someone, oh, Bashan, Kavia and laundry. They go to the laundry. Instead of getting the 20 kwacha back, I say, keep it, right? I spent a lot of money. So that's the importance of tracking. But I would never have realized that if I didn't track.
Yeah.
So just for teaching yourself and building the muscle, I recommend that you get a little notebook. Our Chinese shop friends have got those little books. You track. If you are good at putting it in your phone, in the notes section, put that in your phone, put the dates, say how much you spent and on what. And so when you sit down now to do your budget, it will help you actually realize. The other thing I found about budgeting is most of us underestimate how much we spend on groceries and eating out. Okay?
I think you're shooting me, yeah.
When we say eating out, for example, I know you thought going to a restaurant, right? But do you also know that if I'm at the office and I'm busy and I send somebody to buy me a burger outside, that's eating out, right? So those are things that most of us underestimate. So when they ask you, how much do you spend on groceries? You might say 1,000, but in the shop, you're actually spending 1,800. Right? So it's important that you track. So when you track, then you can sit down and look, what is my lifestyle like? it also gives you a view of where to cut money or where to move other things.
Even the loopholes, I think you're able to know where the cracks are.
Exactly. And that's important for your budget, because now when I sit down and I do my budget, I thought I spent 800 on fuel to get to the office. Now I'm finding out that I actually spend 1,500, right? So now I can budget properly. Even when the money comes in, instead of giving it 800 and then start scrabbling in the middle of the month, I'm better off giving the 1,500 and saying, okay, this is what I do. I spend 400 every week, and then at the weekend it's an extra 200, like that. Rentals are easy. Rentals and school fees are the easiest because it's a set amount. If you pay 2, you know it's 2. If you pay 3, it's 3. So that's easy. So it's important to have your budget. But then there are different types of budgets. Like I said, for me, I really struggled with budgeting. So I found
would you mind knowing why you struggle with budgeting?
Because it's a discipline thing. Also, there's a lot of writing with budgeting. You need to, especially when you're starting out, you need to sit down and actually track. So as a beginner, the way I did it is I found a lady called Paula Pant online. She writes a blog called Afford Anything, and she does what she calls an anti-budget. So what she does is her investments, her savings, and her bills, they all come under bills. So if she needs to save 1,000 per month, electricity is 200, rent is 4,000, like that, she'll put, and then the money comes in and she pays everything. And then whatever money is remaining, is she does whatever she wants with it, which worked for me at the beginning. Because then I didn't have to sit down and say, oh, bread, 200 for the month, like that. I didn't have to do line by line. So it was good for helping me build that muscle. But then there are people like Dave Ramsey whose budgeting style is called every dollar, in which case we'd say every kwacha. You assign every dollar, every kwacha a task. So this one is more detailed for people who are detail oriented, but also for people who've got stringent goals. You're working towards something stringent in the next 6 months or 1 year. Now, which is what I am doing now, is I track everything that I'm spending. So everything. If it's eating out, I have like a little line in there for eating out. If there's a birthday coming up, my dad's birthday is this month, I have a little line in there for birthday presents. Every single kwacha, I know where it's going. I'm not spending anything that I don't know about.
Doesn't that go against? It's like, for argument's sake, you get 20,000 kwacha salary. You've budgeted. You know where 5,000 is going. You know where 10,000 is going. If, for example, groceries are 3,000, you know where 3,000 is going.
Yeah.
When you go out, you again have to start. Oh, I bought vegetables for 10 kwacha. I bought tomatoes. You already put up a budget for that.
You already put up a budget for that, and if you're able to stick to it, that's fine. The tracking is usually for beginners.
Okay.
For the people who don't know where it's going. But for me, because I have a big goal that I'm working towards, I won't tell you what it is, but I have a goal. So even that, I'm tracking. So when I go to the shop, I look at the receipt when I come home. I know that 3,000 is for groceries. I've bought the groceries. I bring them in and I sit down and I start checking what I've bought. Because there are certain things. I'll give you an example of my house. I use this bleach for cleaning the toilets and the bathrooms. I'll buy 2, 1 for each bathroom. Those ones last me up to 6 to 7 weeks. So if I buy 2 this month, I don't usually buy in the next month. I'll buy in the other month because they flow into each other. So I don't need to use the whole 3,000 kwacha in the off month. You understand?
Yeah.
And then that change that I'm keeping, I can then put it on this other goal that I'm trying to achieve. So it's important. And the more you do this thing, the easier it becomes. It sounds cumbersome talking about it, right? But it becomes easier. So I've talked about the
tracking.
Yeah. So what I've talked about tracking. I have talked about your anti-budget, where you just pay bills, then you do whatever you want with the remainder. I've talked about the every dollar. So those are different types of budgets that you do. So it's a lifestyle. I can't do every dollar if I don't like it or if I just don't know how to count. So you find what works for you.
Which one would you recommend?
For the beginners?
For beginners especially.
For the beginners, tracking. Track all your money at first. And then try and do the every kwacha budget. Because
every one kwacha?
Yes. Yes, because you're trying to build something. So if you are not aware of where every kwacha is going, you are going to make mistakes and you won't know where the mistake was. So you start from there. Then as you get good at it and as you get used to it, then you can start changing things around. Sometimes you can use a blend. Some things you track, some things, if it's your entertainment fund, that little 500 kwacha you put in the back, it's your entertainment. It shouldn't matter where you spend it. If you want to go in the club, go. If you want to go and chisanyama somewhere, then go and just spend it, as long as you're not going outside of that. So you do what works for you.
What of people, for beginners, yes, I think that was clear. A lot of people that have already been doing this, what method would you recommend?
So for the people now who've been doing this, usually the people who've been doing it and have been doing it well, they'll do the every kwacha. They track every kwacha, but they've become so good at it that it comes easy. It feels like second nature, so they don't make the effort as much. So they know exactly what they're spending and where they're tracking. And then these people, you find most of them use Excel or their phones. They have apps where they just log everything, and at the end of the month, it gives them a view.
I'm trying to think of my wife who has her own salary and also gets a salary from my salary allowance. Does she need to track what she's using the money for? She already has a salary, she already made a budget, but she also has another income that is coming from my salary, from their husband.
So when you're budgeting, you budget for everything. Everything. If your boyfriend gives you money, if your uncle sends you something, you make sure that you are tracking every little thing, because that's income. That's income that's coming in. Or you can have a rule. Other people have rules around their money. I have rules around the money. If I have an unexpected amount, my dad likes to give me presents. Nice. He likes to send me money once in a while. What I do with that is 80% I save, 20% I go play.
You go play.
Yeah. So for instance, if he gives me 1p, 800, I know it's already going into a saving somewhere. 200, we'll go chill. We'll go buy zinger wings or ice cream or whatever. Yeah, that tricks your brain into understanding that you're enjoying. So the last type of budget that I'm going to share is the 50-30-20 budget.
50-30-20.
Yes. That adds up to
100, I think.
Yes. So 100%. So I am going to use an example of 1,000 kwacha because it's easy. My zeros are easy. So if, for instance, your income is 1,000 kwacha, 50% of your income should go to living expenses. You talked to me about rent, food, clothes, school fees. You should be able to pay those things in your 50%.
Food, rent, clothes in the 50%.
Essentials, yes. Your essentials, you should be able to cover that in your 50%. And then your 30% should go to luxuries, okay? So luxuries is DSTV and Netflix, if that's your thing, or clothes that you don't need but you want.
Heels.
Yes, you want to buy an extra pair of shoes, you will go in the 30%. Or maybe you want to go eat out. Remember, we talked about having an entertainment line in your budget. That's where that would sit in the 30%. In 20%, that should go to your investments and savings. For those of us who are Christians, we pay tithe. 10% goes to tithe, 10% will go to investing or savings. So those are your different types of budgets. I was trying to share the different types as well as explain what they are.
As we end this particular segment today, under the living expenses of 50%, I'm just trying to think. I've heard various experts talk about rent, that rent should not exceed this particular percentage of your income. What is your view?
I agree.
What percentage would you?
So, first of all, let's bring it back and say the experts you have heard saying that are Americans. The Americans, in particular, Uncle Dave Ramsey has told us that the rent should not be more than 35% of your budget. So 40% if you're pushing it. That makes sense for that economy and what they earn as an income. So it has to work for us here as well. I agree that if you're above a certain bracket, income bracket, then you can work with that rule. So like I work with the 35% rule.
35.
Yeah, actually I think my rent is below that. It's below 35.
So a lot. That's a very beautiful house.
No.
Yeah, nice.
No, I just have a really good landlord, and also it was one of those, you know how the drive was. It wasn't the shortest drive. You had a bit of a drive. So I have chosen comfort, and so I spend a little more on transport because I have to drive quite far, but I have chosen. So those are things that you have to start thinking around when you're thinking about rent. Where do I want to live? I couldn't afford this place if it was 2 minutes away from my office or within that neighborhood there. I couldn't afford it. So I chose to live far out so that I can save up money, but I do spend a little bit more on transport, like I mentioned. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Off camera, ask the correct percentage that I should use. I'm going to consult Jen today. I'm going to review my income. So she advises maybe,
Please, I'm here.
Yeah, that house is too big for you.
It's too big for you.
Or no, move to a bigger house.
No.
I think you can afford a bigger house.
No.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. This is how we wrap up this particular segment on our financial literacy on the breakfast show. Millennium Kwacha, Shingongo is my name. We're back next week with another exciting topic. It's a series, so look forward to it. Back to the studios.
It is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on the breakfast show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9.
Welcome back. You are still watching Millennium Kwacha, your first and your favorite business breakfast show. Let's go straight into the news updates. A land dispute emerges between an investor and local people in Lusaka's Kuku compound. Oil pipeline to be built from Lobito to Zambia. In foreign news, U.S. health authorities call for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Now for the details. A dispute has emerged between some residents of Lusaka's Kuku compound and a foreign investor whose purchase of land has included about 75 houses in the area. The residents are refusing to move out of their homes with a compensation of 20,000 kwacha each, claiming that the money being offered is not enough to buy land and settle elsewhere. According to the affected residents, government instructed Asado Enterprise to adequately compensate the affected families after selling him the land in the area. They say the investor has, however, decided to abrogate government's directive and is secretly going from one home to another to entice families with less amounts of money compared to what he was ordered to give them. Harvest Plus Zambia has donated 10 motorbikes to the Ministry of Agriculture and 3 vitamin A orange maize seed companies aimed at enhancing crop development and seed production in the country. Speaking at the handover ceremony, Ministry of Agriculture Director Alec Daka, who was the guest of honor, said that he is confident that the motorbikes will help in addressing transport challenges. Mr. Daka said transport is one of the major challenges that has been hindering the agriculture sector from being viable. Meanwhile, Harvest Plus Zambia Country Manager Lister Katsviral said they are pleased to contribute the motorbikes to assist the agriculture sector with transport for crop research. Angola and Zambia will sign on the 19th of this month in Luanda a memorandum for construction of an oil pipeline for the country to supply fuel. The Angolan Ministry of Mineral Resources announced that the matter was discussed between the Minister for Oil and Gas, Diamantino de Azevedo, and Zambia's ambassador to Angola, Lawrence Chalungumana. According to a statement from the Ministry of Mineral Resources 3 years ago, Zambia showed interest in building a multi-product pipeline from the municipality of Lobito in Angola's Banguela province to supply Zambia and the region with diesel, gasoline and gas. The Zambian diplomat said at the end of the meeting that next Monday the two ministries would sign in Luanda the memorandum for construction of the pipeline. In international news, U.S. health authorities are calling for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after reports of extremely rare blood clotting cases. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, said it was acting out of the abundance of caution. It said 6 cases of severe blood clotting had been detected in more than 6.8 million doses of the vaccine. The recommendation follows similar rare cases in the AstraZeneca vaccine, which has prompted some curbs in its use. In a series of tweets, the FDA said it and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, were reviewing 6 reported U.S. cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot in individuals after receiving the vaccine. Twitter has announced the recruitment of a team of 11 people in Ghana with the intention of making the West African country its headquarters for the continent. Twitter said its new team would start by working remotely while exploring the possibility of opening an office in Ghana in the future. The company explained its choice by the freedoms of expression and internet access offered by Ghana, as well as the recent attribution to capital Accra of the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Facebook already has several offices in Africa, including Nigeria, the most populous country on the continent, also in West Africa. That's it for international news. We take a quick break. When we come back, we return with sports.
The glitz, the glam, the latest fashion, local and international cuisine, plus exactly where the fan is. That is what this show is about. Hello, my name is Constance Namwinga, and welcome to After Hours.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. In sports news, Atlas Mara Bank say they have never doubted their investment in Zesco United and are backing the Ndola Giants to clinch a double this season. Zesco and Atlas Mara have enjoyed a shirt endorsement deal for the last 4 years and last October unveiled a 1-year contract worth 2 million kwacha. The 8-time league champions currently leads the first Super Division race as it battles to reclaim the league title they surrendered to Nkana last season. Victory at the end of the finish line in week 34 will see Zesco join the second most successful club, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, on 9 league titles, 4 less than Nkana. Zesco are the ABSA Cup holders and hope to stay on course for a prospective double when they face Konkola Blades in Saturday semi-finals at the Arthur Davis Stadium in Kitwe. Ex-Chipolo Polo midfielder and 2012 AFCON winning hero Isaac Chansa has been appointed head coach of the FAS National First Division promotion Chasers City of Lusaka. City confirmed Chansa's appointment on April 13th after the Woodland side parted company with Serbia-born coach Veselin Jelusic, who has been in charge since the start of the season. Chansa heads into his first head coaching appointment since he hung his boots over 2 seasons ago at Forest Rangers and subsequently the club's bench as assistant trainer. Meanwhile, City currently sit just outside the top 4 promotion slots in 5th place on 38 points from 22 games with a match in hand. City are tied on points with Chambishi, who are just ahead of them and are 1 point behind third placed Lusaka Celtic, while Kansanshi Dynamos are second on 43 points and leaders Konkola Blades have 46 points. Chansa's debut will be this Saturday when Saturday play bottom of the log league Zesco Shockers in their delayed week 23 game. In international sports, Chelsea survived a spectacular late overhead kick from Mendy Taremi to overcome Porto and confirm a place in the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 7 years. Thomas Tuchel's side went into this home last 8-second leg with both games being played in Seville during the current COVID-19 pandemic. Protecting a 2-goal lead, they only briefly threatened to surrender in the dying seconds following Taremi's brilliant finish. Chelsea, who will now face either Liverpool or Real Madrid in the semi-final, played within themselves, but it was enough to keep a disappointing Porto at bay. The Portuguese side rarely testing keeper Edward Mendy with their surprisingly cautious approach, which they only cast aside when it was too late. Mendy's poor clearance almost offered Jesus Corona a first-half chance, but he could not take advantage, while Christian Pulisic and Mason Mount had opportunities after the break. Taremi's goal was out of character with the rest of Porto's performance and came too late to alter the inevitable course of this quarter-final. And Stephen Curry made history by becoming the Golden State Warriors' all-time leading scorer with the 9th fifth-point game of his career in Monday's NBA victory over the Denver Nuggets. Curry, who joined the Warriors as a first-round draft pick in 2009, scored 53 points in the 116-107 win. It took him to 17,818 points and passed Wilt Chamberlain's record of 17,783. Despite Curry's landmark moment and the victory, the Warriors are 10th in the NBA's Western Conference. That's it for sports. We move on to money markets. In money markets today, the Zambian Kwacha is trading at 22.16 against the US dollar, 30.40 against the British pound, 26.44 against the euro, and 1.51 against the South African rand. The South African rand was little changed, around 14.6 against the greenback, after latest data showed mining activity recovered in February, posting the first gain in a year. Elsewhere, latest economic data showed U.S. consumer prices rose more than expected in March, raising fears that the U.S. Federal Reserve could tighten monetary policies sooner than anticipated. The British pound held slightly above the 1.37 mark in mid-April, not far from an over 2-month low of $1.36 hit last week. The stage 2 of lifting lockdown began on Monday with non-essential shops, gyms and art galleries reopening in England despite the slowing pace of the COVID vaccinations. Elsewhere, concerns over next month's local and regional elections mounted after Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, said that Prime Minister Boris Johnson will not oppose a second independence referendum if the Scottish National Party wins a majority. Finally, the euro traded below $1.19 in mid-April, not far from a 5-month low of $1.17 hit at the end of March, as poor economic data from the bloc's largest economies and rising COVID-19 cases weighed on sentiment. German Chancellor Angela Merkel spoke out again in favor of a strict national lockdown for a short period of time, with the federal government set to introduce legislation that would allow it to impose national restrictions without the backing of regional authorities. That's it for money markets. Let's take a quick look at the weather now. Lusaka City is going to be, Lusaka will be beautiful with sunshine and patchy clouds. Temperatures currently standing at 20 degrees Celsius, expected to climb to about 25 degrees Celsius in the afternoon and then drop to 17 degrees Celsius in the evening. Dollar will be partly sunny with thunderstorms in parts of the area. Temperatures currently standing at 22 degrees Celsius, expected to climb to 24 and then dive to 16 degrees Celsius. Chipata will experience a couple of showers in the morning, followed by a thunder shower and spots in the afternoon. Temperatures currently standing at 23 degrees Celsius, expected to rise to 25 and then dive down to 18 in the evening. Last but not the least is home of the Victoria Falls Livingston. It is sunny and comfortable. Already temperatures are at 28 degrees Celsius, expected to go all the way up to 32 degrees Celsius before coming down to about 19, 20 degrees Celsius later on in the evening. That's it for the weather update and, of course, for the news update as well. But we still have so much more lined up for you. We're talking fashion and we're talking SME, so do not go anywhere. I'll be back just now.
Who are we? What are we about? Say you want to learn about business or get latest news updates in business news, social and economic issues, stock exchange, latest exchange rates, and all financial matters, or you want to learn on how to manage your money from savings, banking, insurance, to maybe our new traditional way of doing things like village banking. And if you're like me, planning and constantly making sound financial decisions is essential. So I need to keep abreast with upcoming investments, taxes, technology, or entrepreneurship prospects. Interesting, right? So what if I told you by just one click you can learn from mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing services, and yes, entertainment industries. After all, the more you know about money, the better financially you will be. So who are we? What are we about? Millennium TV, your first business and financial news television channel. Catch us on Top Star, Channel 95, or follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Millennium TV, we mean business. Who are we? What are we about? Millennium TV. Millennium TV. We mean business.
Mafingerings tikaleta kukuti kule ifike pa 500 gram or 450 gram even pa 400 flat gram mshia kule mngapeleke pa market.
When we were at school, we learn a lot of things. Let's say, for example, for the diseases which are there in the poultry. So for someone like me who has gone to school, it's easy for me to know if at all there are any diseases in the poultry.
The glitz, the glam, the latest fashion, local and international cuisine, plus exactly where the fan is. That is what this show is about. Hello, my name is Constance Namwinga, and welcome to After Hours. It is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9.
Thank you so much for staying tuned into Millennium TV, your first business and financial news channel. This is your breakfast show, Millennium Kwacha. I'm your host, Constance Namwinga. So now in this segment, we're going to be talking to Mr. Din Nyambe. He is an executive concept strategist, and he's going to be helping us understand the role of SMEs in national development. That encompassed around the Lusaka Business Expo that will be happening, that you absolutely need to take part in or go and see once it has started. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Constance, and thank you for having me this morning.
Awesome. Okay, so SMEs, firstly, a lot of people hear the term SMEs being thrown around, but may not necessarily understand what an SME is. Could you help us understand what that is?
Yeah, SME pretty much means small, medium enterprises, you know. So basically we're looking at businesses that get to employ or have a number of about 1 to about 50 people. So they fall under that bracket of a business. So hence the term small, medium enterprises abbreviated as SME.
Nice. And why do you think it's important for people not only to start SMEs, you know, individuals to be part of SMEs, but then why do you also think it's important for SMEs to be supported?
Yeah, you know, I always give this example everywhere I go, that SMEs are pretty much a backbone for every economy. And maybe we should zero in and start from that point or that angle, because SMEs contribute so much in terms of economic development, in terms of production, in terms of employment, and also issues regarding the exports and job creation. So I think it's very, very vital and important to able to support these SMEs. In the sense that they'll be able to contribute in what I earlier alluded to in terms of employment, which is job creation, as well as production. So what we're trying to do at Lusaka Business Expo, and of course government through Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Industry, and with its statutory bodies such as the DA and CEC, is that we're trying to promote people and the youths to tap into this space or sector of enterprise, where they are able to get on board and set up a business. There's been quite a huge number of youths that are pretty much looking for a job or employment. But what we're trying to see is a situation where people get to have a shift in terms of mindset, where they're able to pretty much tap into the space of becoming an entrepreneur and be able to be an employer. Right.
But then, you know, I would want to hear your comment on this. And do you think everyone and anyone can be an entrepreneur?
I want to believe that everyone and anyone can be an entrepreneur, and not get to limit how people get to think in terms of how they want to develop in terms of personal development. But it is very possible for anyone to be an entrepreneur. It just starts with a dream and an idea.
With that said, as much as, you know, I can have the dream of being an entrepreneur, being owning a company, owning a business, what are some of the mistakes that a lot of SMEs make where they start but never actually, you know, at a certain point you see them closing, you see business, you know, dying out?
I think the most imperative way to see to rather to take up this topic is pretty much understanding the core and the value of that person in terms of how they want to pretty much drive their agenda of becoming an entrepreneur. There's so many people, like you say, that have tapped into the space of becoming an entrepreneur and they end up dying and rather close short. But the most important thing is what drives you, what gives you that power and motivation to start up a business. Do you have a fully backed up information, stats on what you want to get into? The second thing will be, how do you get them to develop? Because we've seen quite a number of SMEs, they've been SMEs for pretty much longer than they should have developed and stayed in that space of an SME. Maybe they started in 1990 and they're still an SME. SMEs need to grow. Okay. You don't need to get into an SME and just decide that I'll be an SME. Then there's no growth as a person, there's no growth to your enterprise, your business. So pretty much the mistake some make is that maybe they don't consult the right people to guide them and give them a roadmap on how to develop. So that's the reason why it is very important that when you are getting into a certain space, you must have consulted on how you can navigate yourself and you navigate your business, and be able to connect yourself with the like-minded people within your sector, and also what's the ultimate objective of the business and what's the ultimate objective of that individual. I think that's where the link gets to miss and people get to pretty much get stuck and close. Okay.
Now, we do know that a lot of people who, if you ask them that question, a lot would say, no, it's because of money, we don't have funding, we don't have... Do you think there is, do we have the environment, you know, where anyone and everyone can access funding to start a business? Or, you know, a lot of people complain, I haven't started my business because I don't have the money. You know, what's your take on that situation?
Yeah, that's pretty much the conversation that is out there, because when you go out there and ask most of these youths, and ask them, why aren't you pretty much starting up something to, you know, keep you busy or give you some sort of an income, they'll tell you, I don't have money, you know. But even if I give you money and you don't have an idea on how you should be able to set up that business, you're still not gonna make it, you'll fail. I think the most important is getting the information, education, and having that idea that and conviction that you want to do this. There's so many people. I personally been in business for quite some time, and I interact with different business owners, and they'll tell you that it's not very easy to be an entrepreneur. You really need to be strong, and you need to be focused. You need to be very innovative and creative. So government is putting on board platforms where these youths are able to tap in that youth empowerment. We are working with government. The Lusaka Business Expo, the Push Women Network, is working with government to make sure that we can call upon the youths to come through and be able to learn. It starts with learning. Yeah, you need to learn. From there on, you can then move on to become what you want to be, because there's no way you can just say, I want to get into business, I'm looking for money. Yeah, I'll give you the money, but what are you going to do with that money if you don't have a plan? Jot down your plan, list down your objectives. Yeah, so there is an environment that has been created to tap into the space of entrepreneurship through, of course, platforms such as CEC. ZDA also is promoting investments, and they have various educational packages that they're teaching out these youths that are interested to get into business, so that when you get that, acquire that information and that knowledge, you will not be able to fail. Really, it shouldn't be very difficult for you to excel.
Okay, now I'm thinking of that woman, or you know, she sells chiptumba on the streets, or you know, those that will sell maize and whatever. Do those also fall under SMEs? 1, 2, what is their role in national development? Because it's really them just making a little money and, you know, having something to eat at the end of the day.
It depends with how that person gets to see themselves, really, because they get to, you know, SME has got what we call traditional SME, where it starts from handcraft, and then you have these small traders. The Tumbua person that you're talking about, they can actually start from there and be able to own a bakery. Okay. So it's about the strategy, it's about the information, it's about what they want to achieve at the end of the day. It's not just making vitumbua. Obviously, they've got an objective at the end of the day of making money, raising the capital. And if you ask them, if I were to give you, say for instance, an initial investment of X amount, what else would you want to do? They'll tell you that they want to do quite a lot of things. So we're calling upon those women to come to the expo and be able to learn how they can actually be more creative and innovative, and tap into the space of where they'll be able to be given a platform where they can get to do bigger things than they are doing right now.
Okay, now I'm interested in the expo itself. Can you tell us, for those that, I mean, we've heard about it, lots of people have come here. We even had Liapa the other week and come through and tell us about it. But please, just for those that are hearing about the Lusaka Expo for the first time. Tell us about the Lusaka Expo.
Yeah, so the Lusaka Business Expo is a first of its kind, as you know. It's a first of its kind business interaction. And we're trying to promote business networks. We're trying to promote SMEs. We're trying to promote these sole traders that we were talking about in terms of the Chitumbua lady or the Chitumbua gentleman out there. Also, bigger businesses. So it's a platform where we're going to connect all these people and be able to give them also a panel discussion from the experts in different fields and sectors of our industry. Yeah, so it's going to be on the 7th and 8th of May, and it's going to be on the East Park grounds. I call it the mother of all expo because it brings so much value in terms of what we're trying to achieve, and our core objective of the expo really is to see that we create more SMEs. We create a platform where these SMEs are able to tap into that fund you're talking about, and able to educate them more on how they can access that fund. There is fund out there. The issue here is about how people get to access that fund and where do they get to get that fund. Yeah, so we're going to give them a platform where they will have a channel from all government statutory bodies to different market players and be able to tap into that space where they'll be able to be assisted in terms of funding, in terms of capacity building, and so many other things.
Okay, you talked about the key objectives being creating SMEs. Could you elaborate further on what the key objectives of the Lusaka Expo is?
What we're trying to do as a Lusaka Business Expo is to bring in the individuals that want to come and get into that space of entrepreneurship. They'll be pretty much coached, they'll be pretty much given a guideline on how to get to access funds, and be able to be given a mentor who will be able to guide them on how to go about the business so that they don't get to fail.
Okay.
We're sick and tired of hearing a story of an individual who gets to start up a business, tomorrow they're no longer there. But how do we get to maintain that business and be able to make it a bigger corporation? Hence the Lusaka Business Expo. So there's a deliberate policy under the Lusaka Business Expo that wants to create SMEs, and every year we have given ourselves a target on how we can contribute in terms of creating SMEs and maintaining them, and be able to get to export, not just to do business here in Lusaka, Zambia, but penetrate the market. Of course, you know about the African Free Trade
the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Correct, yes. And why not tap into that space? Why should we sit back and let other countries take up the leading role? Let's get to be the first people to tap into that space and be able to export. So the more we have these SMEs, the more income that we're going to create, and the increase in terms of our GDP. So we'll assist ourselves by creating these SMEs, and we'll create more jobs for our nation. Right.
Now, usually what you see is a lot of the workshops, not as big as the Lusaka Expo, but workshops do happen where people come in and they treat the youth and they train the youth, I beg your pardon, and then they give them the fund and they let them go. Is there going to be a deliberate move for you to monitor the youth that would have trained, how they're using the money, are they growing their business, and so on and so forth?
Yes, the Lusaka Business Expo, it's going to be a story.
Okay.
It's not just an event. It's going to be a story that would going to tell a lot more stories about how many youths have been turned into entrepreneurs. So what we're trying to do is create a board that will sit to see that a number of ex-youths that came through the Lusaka Business Expo are actually performing. And we have deliberately brought in other partners on board, specialized in managing youths and entrepreneurship, such as ORBS. These are big partners in terms of support. So they will pretty much be able to assess how these youths are pretty much progressing in terms of their businesses. Will we'll have a board which will get to monitor these youths in terms of productivity, in terms of how their growth is gaining momentum on the market, and connect them to the larger markets. So you'll see more SMEs, you'll see more businesses, and you'll see more businesses getting into bigger space. That's growth that we're trying to bring in.
Nice, awesome. Okay, so I love the theme around the Lusaka Expo, awakening the future. Tell us why it was why that was the chosen theme and what it's all about.
Yes, Awakening the Future today is our theme for the Lusaka Business Expo. We had to really think through in terms of what sits well with the Lusaka Business Expo, and we thought Awakening the Future is a better and much more suitable theme, because we are coming from we are still in a space of COVID, and COVID has had closed down shop businesses. So we're trying to see how we can stay resilient with the business that we already have, and how these businesses can be supported. Hence, us partnering with government and other bigger corporations. So that we are able to help out these SMEs and bigger corporations, of course, push them with an agenda of digitalization.
Okay.
Yeah. So the theme sits around in a way that we are supposed to be productive even in this time of COVID. We don't want to see any business close. We want to create more businesses even in the time of COVID. In a way where we will be a bit more innovative, more creative, and utilize the digital space. So hence the theme.
Ah, nice. I like that. Who can participate though? I know you've talked about how you want more SMEs to come in, but maybe break it down for us. Who is able to participate? What is the target audience for the event? Even when you talk about audience, is it going to be a walkthrough situation? Can I just walk through and see what's happening, be part of the trainings and so on and so forth? Do I have to register in advance and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so what the Lusaka Business Expo has done is that they've created a Google application form.
Okay.
So when you go to any of our media platforms, such as the Lusaka Business Expo on Facebook page, or Instagram, Twitter, or rather the Push Women Network, you would see that there's a link that takes you to a Google form. So anyone that feels they want to participate, they want to learn so much about entrepreneurship, they can visit those pages and be able to just click that link and be able to sign up.
Okay.
Also, they can walk through, come through to the East Park grounds where the expo will be happening, and we'll have a Lusaka Business Expo booth there, specifically for people who want to come and learn, some people that want just to know about business and entrepreneurship. So they'll be able to tap into that booth, rather walk into that booth and be able to be given information on how they can sign up for various activities, including mentorship and so many other things, such as funding and workshops. So the expo is open to everyone.
Everyone.
We have no restrictions. You can bring in your children, you can bring in your family members, SMEs, sole traders, big corporate organizations will be there, and they'll be coming through to the expo, and they'll be showcasing their products and services. And of course, networking is the most important thing that will be also happening at the expo. Just before the actual exhibition day, we'll have a business discussion forum which will be virtual, and this will be also televised on various media platforms. I call upon the general public to look out for that broadcast, because there'll be different panels and different sectors of economic sectors rather, coming in to give out different keynote speeches.
Okay.
Right.
For those that want to participate in that, they even want to showcase their products and services. Is there a fee that comes with it, and how is that working?
Yes, there is a fee. What they need to do is basically just email expo@pushwomennetwork.com, or call this number 0977 132548 or 0955 132516 or 0969 210679. Yeah, so when you hit up those numbers or that email, someone will rapidly respond to you and will be able to guide you on what packages are there at the Lusaka Business Expo, and it will be easy to sign up.
Okay, nice. There's also emphasis on supporting SMEs. Tell us what role the SME industry plays to the overall economic health of our country.
This question keeps coming back.
Yes.
Right? So I'll always tell you that SMEs contribute so much in terms of production, in terms of job creation, and they contribute so much on GDP. So maybe we can just try to zero in on that, because when, say for instance, we have about 5,000, I like to give this number 5,000 because the Lusaka Business Expo is trying to hit that number, right?
Oh, nice.
Yes, so if you have 5,000 people that get to register and become SMEs, and well-funded, well-guided, innovative and creative thoughts, it means when they start running, if that business starts running, it means we'll automatically create 5,000 jobs. If one SME gets to recruit one individual to help them run the business, what if they recruit 5? What if they recruit 3? Just calculate the number of jobs that will be created.
Exactly.
Government is busy trying to support this cause. Government is also busy running government business. It is upon the SMEs to come on board and be able to stimulate the economic growth of this nation. Hence the emphasis on creating SMEs.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming through and helping us understand that and telling us about the Business Expo. Before I let you go, do you have any, closing remarks that you have, especially concerning the Expo? Because I want us to really talk about it and have as many people come through as possible.
Thanks, Constance. Lusaka Business Expo, it's here to stay, and it's not just a Lusaka exhibition. It's a countrywide exhibition. I call it a mother of all expo because we're trying to get into other spaces of the region, such as Namibia, Malawi, South Africa, DRC, you can name it. We want to bring so many other, so many companies in the next expo that we're going to have next year, May, so that we can be able to create that networking platform with our own SMEs. So what we're trying to do basically is to stimulate the economic growth of this nation and create that networking link with other corporate players.
Nice. Thank you so much once again for coming and spending time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. You are still watching Millennium Kwacha, your first business and breakfast show. We make sure that you have all the information so that you make good and financial sound decisions. So do make sure that you take part in the expo. Go to the Push Women's Facebook page. You will find all the information that you need there for the Lusaka Expo. Whether you just want to be a participant, you want to learn about businesses, or you actually want to showcase the products and services that your business does, this is the place for you to go to so that you can network. You never know who you might just meet. Do stay with us. When we come back, we start talking fashion. So don't go anywhere.
Who are we? What are we about? Say you want to learn about business or get latest news updates in business news, social and economic issues, stock exchange, latest exchange rates, and all financial matters, or you want to learn on how to manage your money from savings, banking, insurance, to maybe our new traditional way of doing things like village banking. And if you're like me, planning and constantly making sound financial decisions is essential. So I need to keep abreast with upcoming investments, taxes, technology, or entrepreneurship prospects. Interesting, right? So what if I told you, by just one click, you can learn from mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing services, and yes, entertainment industries. After all, the more you know about money, the better financially you will be. So who are we? What are we about? Millennium TV, your first business and financial news television channel. Catch us on Top Star, Channel 95, or follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Millennium TV, we mean business.
Hello and welcome to Zoom in Africa, where we'll bring you the continent's biggest stories in current affairs. We'll also bring you the headlines, main news stories, expert analyses, and interviews. Right here on Millennium TV.
Millennium TV. Millennium TV. We mean business.
Mafingerings tikaleta kukuti kule ifike pa 500 gram or 450 gram even pa 400 flat gram mshia kule mngapeleke pa market.
When we are at school, we learn a lot of things. Let's say, for example, for the diseases which are there in the poultry. So for someone like me who has gone to school, it's easy for me to know if at all there are any diseases in the poultry.
It is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9.
Millennium TV. Millennium TV. We mean business.
Mafingerings tikaleta kukuti kule ifike pa 500 gram or 450 gram even pa 400 flat gram mshia kule mngapeleke pa market.
When we are at school, we learn a lot of things. Let's say, for example, for the diseases which are there in the poultry. So for someone like me who has gone to school, it's easy for me to know if at all there are any diseases in the poultry.
It is packaged to perfection, trending topics that we will be discussing to make sure you know exactly what's happening in the world of social media and, of course, our very own country.
Exactly. We don't just limit ourselves to the country, but we also move across the borders with the best in international news, policy making. We also bring experts to bring to you right information right here on The Breakfast Show.
And if you've got questions, we got you covered too. Like we said, we're on Facebook, so comment, leave your questions. We will be able to answer them. And if we can, trust me, we're going to get somebody that can.
Yeah, join us every day, Monday to Saturday.
It's Constance and Paul.
Oh, Paul and Constance.
No, definitely Constance and Paul.
Paul and Constance.
Definitely Constance.
Paul and Constance. 7 to 9.
It is the glitz, the glam, the latest fashion, local and international cuisine, plus exactly where the fan is. That is what this show is about. Hello, my name is Constance Namwinga and welcome to After Hours.
Who are we? What are we about? Say you want to learn about business or get latest news updates in business news, social and economic issues, stock exchange, latest exchange rates, and all financial matters, or you want to learn on how to manage your money from savings, banking, insurance, to maybe our new traditional way of doing things like village banking. And if you're like me, planning and constantly making sound financial decisions is essential. So I need to keep abreast with upcoming investments, taxes, technology, or entrepreneurship prospects. Interesting, right? So what if I told you by just one click you can learn from mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing services, and yes, entertainment industries. After all, the more you know about money, the better financially you will be. So who are we? What are we about? Millennium TV, your first business and financial news television channel. Catch us on Top Star, Channel 95, or follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Millennium TV, we mean business.
The point is to bring out all avenues, whether it's food, which I absolutely love, or it's business, SMEs, or it's fashion. That is what the breakfast show is about. We want to give you all aspects and go all round. So in this moment now, we're going to be talking fashion, fashion, fashion. If you're a fashionista or you know a fashionista, tell them to tune in. We are live on Facebook as we speak, live on YouTube as we speak as well. We're on Channel 95 of Top Star. For those that are watching on Facebook and are wondering which channel we are on, that is our channel as well. My name is Constance Namwinga. Thank you so much for tuning in to the breakfast show. So now in studio, I've been joined by two ladies that are the fashion sense, even just what they're wearing, when you see them, you're going to tell what's out of this world. Yeah. So we have Natasha Helen Zulu and Annie K. Nakamba. They're going to be telling us about fashion, and not just wearing it and looking good, but also fashion as a business. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so to get started, you are partners in a business. Tell us the name of the business, tell us what it's about and how you run it as partners.
Basically, it's freestyle. So we've been friends for... How long have we been friends?
I think six years now.
6 years, yeah. So we've been thinking about what we can do besides friendship, because we have common interests, and there is a lot that's coming up. In 2014, I started designing, and it was under Yes Village by then, and should just come in and should ask for me to design something for her. and she would bring also designs. So she was like, how about we do this thing together?
Okay.
And I think something slowed me down. I feel pregnant, so the designing thing just kind of, it slipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So until now, she was like, you know, we need to get back. We need to get back because we've been talking about partnering and doing this thing again. So let's rebrand it and do more of streetwear and something that just expresses us.
Okay.
So that's how it.
Yeah, but now we're back, and it actually feels good to partner with somebody who's been a friend for a long time, and we understand each other, so we bring out different aspects of ourselves. Then, yeah, it's been interesting, I must say. So, have you? Well, firstly, what are you calling your label, your design? Everything Dope. Oh, why did you decide on that name?
Because it's, of course, it's everything dope.
It's dope.
It's dope.
I mean,
and
look at my outfit.
Yeah.
It's dope. I think the reason why we even settled for this name is because basically all the outfits are meant to be streetwear. Okay. I don't know if you've noticed, most designers in Zambia do not focus on streetwear. It's always been chitenge, official, and but then if you look at our page and what we have on there, it's really just streetwear. Yes. Why did you decide though to go the line of streetwear? Like you said already, very few people focus on it, mainly because very few people will actually go for streetwear. Aren't there fears of what happens if you don't have the market for that?
Of course, there'll always be market for streetwear. Have you noticed how most of the times if you want to go do sporting activities, you always have to get a tracksuit that's already made. But there has never been designers who've been doing, of course maybe they are there, but they've never really come out.
Yeah, okay.
So we decided to do something that's for the street, that someone will just come and say, I really want a certain design, or we design for them, and they have to go maybe for, like I said, for sports, and they're unique. I'm sure you've checked the page and you've seen. Yeah, there will be actually pictures that we'll be showing later on. Okay, so now I'm curious. You obviously are doing other things aside from the designing. How are you managing to balance what the other that you do? You being a mother, even, and then now there's the designing and growing this, which is now going to be your business and your baby. That happens when we have our meetings and discuss our way forward with the business. Initially, it's like how you are always hanging out with your friends. We hang out quite a lot. So that's the time that we are talking about what we're going to do next. Yes. So it really doesn't take away much from our daily activities. Okay. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Now, fashion as a business, what are some of the challenges that you have already been facing even as you are starting out into this business? Well, it's, mostly when people would like to get stuff from people they already know. Okay. They would hesitate. Most of the times they would prefer your brand is maybe represented better. And even if you do, there is just that thing where people want to associate themselves to a certain brand because it's already there. So I think even when we have like orders for certain things, other people will be like, is she known? Who does that? Yeah. So okay. So then also people that know you personally just do not really want to have anything to do it. They'll be like, maybe, I think that's too expensive. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Are you having any issues when it comes to like, because when it comes to importing material, for example, do you get your material right here in Zambia? How is that working out? Material-wise, yes, definitely we get it here from Zambia. Then there are times when I get to travel and
just a by the word thing, and I would come with a few pieces that may be interesting. But initially, we get everything here from Zambia, so it's locally made. Everything is made from here, and the material, everything.
Nice, nice. There's the COVID pandemic that everybody, and I know it's a topic that everybody talks about all the time, but how do you think the COVID has impacted you as individuals and you as a business?
I think from way back, before when Tasha had started the Yesu village, then I remember she would go get material and everything for a certain type of amount, and everything would be enough, and she would be able to make things for me then. But then now it's a bit complex because even the material is expensive. Everything has just gone double. So yes, it's the dollar. Everybody's saying the dollar. So yes, it's the dollar.
Where do you see yourselves though when it comes to even just fashion shows? Do you have like a fashion show that you think if we showcase there we are good?
Girl, we're gonna be big.
Yes, New York Fashion Week.
Oh, nice.
But I think I would like South African Fashion Week.
That's what we're going to start with. Yeah.
And what about like right here in our country? Are there any? Have you showcased for any of the Zambian walkways?
There's a time she showcased. She doesn't remember.
Yeah, on the Dashiki hangout.
Okay.
Yeah, but then it wasn't even.
That was a long time ago,
it was
though.
In 2015.
And I was her model then.
Yeah.
Oh, so you started out as modeling.
Yes.
I was her model.
Ah, nice, nice. And then you partnered and started. Do you still model the clothes that you're doing?
Yes, I still do. Yes, there's pictures on the page. I still do.
Nice, nice. Okay, we're in the dying minutes. I would want to find out though, when it comes to, you know, a lot of girls out there, you know, who get up and be like, no, I want to be in fashion, I want to be a model, I want to be a fashion designer, and so on and so forth. What would you say to encourage, and do you believe anyone and everyone can be in fashion, or you know there are certain people where you have to be like, no, sit down, go home, go change your plan?
You know how I look at things? For me, like I said, it's just freestyle. There is that thing in you that really wants to do something that you want. We stopped, and then it was that thing where you look at someone and your inspiration just comes from what you see.
Okay.
It can be maybe a flower, and you look at the flower and you're like, I think I can make an outfit out of this. How about if I make this and this together, I put it together, and then it really comes out as an outfit. So that's why everything now clicks and says, it clicks, and you start thinking, okay, so I really need to do this, because there is no way I would just be walking and find inspiration in just even plain things. So do what you have to do. Just listen to what you want. There are times, that's why me time is very important. It doesn't mean you have to go to the club and have fun, but you just sitting down and listening to yourself. There is so much that is in you by just being alone and knowing what you want.
Nice. Any closing remarks?
I think what Tasha says about me time is very, very important. At the end of the day, we have everything that we need, everything that we want is already inside us. So if you can take time to listen to yourself, your intuition, and just really dig deep to your core, you know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what you want to achieve. Everything is in us. So it's just really about having time for yourself.
Awesome.
Self-care.
Awesome. Okay, lastly, I want to, how can people get in touch with Everything Dope if they want to order, they want to buy clothes from you? How do they get in touch with you guys?
Well, we're on Instagram as Everything Dope Store, and we're on Facebook as well. Our website is underwear. We are creating a website, so it's just going to be easy for people to, for those people that just want to order via the website. But aside from that, they can also just contact us via our direct numbers. Yes.
You can give, that is okay with you? You can give them out?
Okay. Okay, my number is 0974 079 300. Yeah, that's 0974 079 300.
Nice. And yours?
0977 749008.
Yes.
You look very unsure, like, that's my number. No, ladies, thank you so much.
Sometimes.
Thank you so much for coming through and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. On that note, we end Millennium Kwacha, your first and your favorite business breakfast show. We're talking fashion with the ladies from Everything Dope. So if you do want, I know, right? Can we have a situation where we can have her outfit shown? I really. We've run out of time. My producer is out there saying, "Fam, no, end this." But we will show pictures, and of course, you can go on Instagram. They are on Instagram. It's Everything Dope Stores.
Yes.
So search for that, and you'll be able to see some of the work that the ladies from Everything Dope are doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do join us again, same time, same place tomorrow. My name is Constance. Namwinga. Bye bye for now. Thank you so much.